Look at how clean this is, man. Just fucking cleaned it, bro. Fucking gas leaking everywhere. I've been tilting this thing back and forth. But check out that piston. So clean now. It was filthy black. So is in here. If I can get it to focus. This phone's so big I can't control it with one hand. There we go. All that was fucking block full of tar. I got in there with the flathead and just started cleaning it. The cylinder wall is smooth. Everything's smooth. You can see my head. No homo. My muffler is still connected to my top of the head because I stripped the bolts. This is a brand new Hedge Trimmer SHC 225S, brand new, about $400 on the market at Home Depot. And this bolts are too tight, bro. The muffler, that's what I hate about the mufflers, man. The muffler, I was lucky enough to get the muffler off my Echo Hedge Trimmer, but this is my Hedge Trimmer, and the bolts on the mufflers are so tight I ended up stripping them. I'm pretty sure if I get a brand new screwdriver for these, it would work. I could probably get it off, but I had to leave it on. I mean, it's nothing to worry about. You don't necessarily have to take the muffler off unless it goes bad. But the gasket and muffler are both metal. This is metal. This gasket right here is metal. As you can see, it's covering. So I don't have anything to worry about these things until maybe like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years later down the road. And I don't use these too much, so this is pretty good. I usually take the muffler off because it gives me more room to work with. But it doesn't really matter. I just took the head off, with the muffler on. I can still do some maintenance to it. This is basically the major primary aspect of what I'm trying to focus on is this coat cleaning the piston head and the cylinder inside. The muffler has nothing to do with anything. Thank God that I can still take it off. If I need to get a new muffler, then I'll have to buy a new head, and I'll have to buy this whole new piece separately, so I can piece it together, because when I piece it together, I would know it's not going to be on too tight, so I'll have to buy this head separately and the muffler separately at 2 different times so I can piece it together. Because, or I can take this to a machine shop, but whatever. I'm not going to, it doesn't need to do all that. I don't have to do all that crap. But I'm just going to put this gasket on. I don't even know which way it goes. But I'm going to clean this real quick. Just clean this gasket off real quick. Put this on. I'm pretty sure it goes on like this. So you see the thing. A little U at the bottom. There's a little U right here. So I'm just going to line that up with that. Put this around it. Clean it up. Lube it down with some oil. Just around the top and around in here. Lube it down and put this baby back on and start it up. Oh, I'm also going to clean the carburetor on my other weed trimmer. The carburetor got messed up. I was sitting there priming it. I don't want to prime it now because the fuel would just empty out these pipes right here. But I was priming it. And as I was priming it, my hand was getting leaked. My hand was leaking off oil. And I'm like, why the hell? Everything's connected. You know what I mean? I'm like, and the primer sits on it just like this. These hoses go right to it. And it sits on it just like that. And I'm like, why the hell, is this thing leaking? So I was trying to figure it out all day. I'm looking at this thing all day, and I'm like, damn, man, I don't know why this, and I tried to start it, and it starts up, but it wouldn't stay on, and I'm like, fuck, man, I'm like, why is it, and then I found out it was leaking, and I'm like, why is this? I found out it was leaking because this in here, it was wet in here, and it's dripping of fuel in here, and I was like, why is all this fuel? And I smelled it, and it was fuel, and I was like, why is it all, So I got in here, I looked in here after hours later, and when you open this up, this is connected to this, and this is connected to the trigger. So when you pull it back, this is a throttle. When you pull it back, it pulls this back. When you pull it back, this opens up. When you open it up, there's a thing inside. Let me see if I can get in there. There's a thing in there. See that white tube in there? When you pull it back, and I primed it, and it was spitting out oil through that white tube out the side of it. not from the top of it, but it was spitting oil out from the side of the tube. And I was like, there you go. And then I came to my hedge trimmer and I took this off. I started priming it and I'm like, there's something leaking. So I knew for sure that the carburetor was bad because that tube going up and down, it was leaking through the side of it. You know, the tube goes straight up and down. You know, and when I primed it, it was leaking to the outer side of it. And that's not supposed to happen. It doesn't happen on this, and this is brand new. This one works perfect. You know, there's nothing should be wet. You know, when you're priming and priming, you know, when is it ever wet a feel when you're priming it? You know what I mean? Everything's supposed to be sealed and tight, and everything's supposed to be going into the carburetor so it can ignite this and keep this thing running. Nothing's supposed to be leaking. Nothing's supposed to be wet anywhere. So that's why my weed whacker wasn't staying on. So I ordered a new carburetor. I ordered a new SRM 225. This is SHC 225S. This is the hedge trimmer. My weed whacker is a SRM 225. I ordered a new carburetor, but the carburetor to this and the carburetor to my weed eater are both the same. These are the same identical engines. So they both require the same piston, the same carburetor, the same throttle, the same this, the same engine top, same spark plug, same muffler. They both require the same engine parts. Nothing is different except the top. You know, this is a hedge trimmer, the other one's a weed whacker. So I ordered a new carburetor, and luckily on eBay they cost around I want to say $7 to $11. So I bought one for $11.99. It came with the whole fuel filter kit, carburetor, gaskets, spark plug, air filter. It came with the whole kit you buy at like Home Depot, but Home Depot doesn't come with a carburetor. And on eBay, it comes with the carburetor, air filters, spark plug, fuel filter, fuel lines. It comes with like 3 fuel filters and like all these fuel lines right here. And it comes with this garment right here, whatever it's called. So I bought all of that for $11. I probably might buy another one just to have on deck, or 2 more just to have on deck. So, I mean, those things are fairly cheap. I could definitely afford $22 worth of carburetors. So I'll probably buy 2 more. I already bought 1, so I'll probably buy 2 more just in case to have on deck. But that was the problem. So, I mean, I was even messing with this screw right here and this screw right here. I was even adjusting it to see. But then I found out it was leaking in there. So, yeah. So what I think what I did was I took this top piece off, this black piece. I took it off, you know. And when I took it off and put it back on, I think that's why I messed it up. Because I didn't go in very well. So I might have broken that tube inside. So that's why it became leak. That's why I started to have the leak. Because I went to go put it in. And I was like, why isn't it going in? I got it in there and then I must have broken that tube, you know, so I must have cracked it. So maybe that's why it was leaking. So instead of taking this top off, I just removed it from this thing. So easy. You just unloosen this screw right here. Where is it? Just pull the screw back and then take it off this. Take this line off right here. Out this hole, you just push this. You just push it back like that. And then it should pop right out. And then you just pull it out and the whole carburetor comes out. Now to clean the carburetor, all you gotta do is just take this screw out. This bottom plate just fall off with these gaskets. With this gasket, you clean in there, spray in there. Then you want to take these 4 screws off. This prime bulb plate, metal plate should come off. Then under this plate, there's a screw in the middle of it. Under this plate, you see that hole? Well, you can't see because the fluid's in there. But when you remove this silver plate, there's a screw right in the dead center of it, just like this, right in the middle of it. Right where my finger is, right in the middle of it, straight down. And you just unloosen that off, and this white half-inch, this white thing should come out, and there's a black gasket right in between it. You see that black gasket right where my fingernail is? There's a gasket right in between this white and metal thing. There's a gasket right in there. So once you remove this, you should remove this and lift that gasket off and spray all on the top, the surface of that, and everything will be fine. And then you put this plate back on with this gasket, you assemble it together, and you've done it. You clean the carburetor. Something so easy. So, but always remember to be careful when you take this top piece off. So I'm gonna get this thing connected back together and start it up, see what we sound like. All right.